Hello, this is Tyler White. Today we're going to talk about what you do if you need char material but you don't have cotton or cloth to make it. So stay tuned. So if you're in the backcountry and you've been there for a long time, you know that starting a fire with flint and steel is much easier than friction fire every time, or maybe you broke your lighter and you want to use flint and steel, whatever. And the problem with that though is it requires some sort of material in order to hold the spark that you add to a nest to create your fire. Now, it's easy in our modern day world to use cotton. We have old dish rags and old pants and old underwear and all sorts of stuff that's made of cotton that we can turn into char material. But if all I've got is what I'm wearing and I don't want to cut my pants up, or I don't want to burn my rope or whatever it is, then I need to know how to do this on a continual basis without using up cotton material. The way that we do that is we char any plant-based natural material that will hold a spark. Now, some are going to do much better than others. The reason being is if you have material that's dense and hard, the spark will hit it and it won't hold. If you have material that is fluffy and light, like punk wood, the spark will hit it and it will hold. So one of my favorite materials to make natural char material out of is punk wood. So what is punk wood? Punk wood is the wood that you get after the tree's been dead multiple seasons, maybe even multiple years, and it starts to fall apart. It's soft, you can crush it with your fingers, and it will fall apart. The reason why that's valuable is because it's on a micro level, it looks like these small crystal-looking structures. Those little structures will catch an ember, and it won't suffocate it of oxygen. It'll let it burn, a spark, and it will let that spark burn just long enough that it will hold. If it holds, it spreads. If it spreads, we can transfer it to nesting material. So that is super important. So the way that we do this is basically just like the way that we do natural material. So what I'll do, oftentimes you have an oddly shaped chunk of punk wood. So what I'll do is I'll add it to the box. I'll either shave it or bust it off or trim it up a little bit so that when I put it in my my Altoids can, it will actually fit. This is kind of a little more dense than normal, but it's still punky enough it should work. Okay? Now the thing about punk wood to remember is that it shrinks substantially. Almost 1/2 to 1/3 of it will shrink. So understanding that, you're going to want to maybe make a batch like I've done over here, and then make another batch. So you've done 2 or 3 batches, and then throw all of those batches back inside of your Altoids can so you have a whole bunch of it when you move. And this stuff, there's no weight to it. I mean, technically it weighs something, but if I had it in my pocket, I wouldn't even know it was there. It's so lightweight. So we'll add it to that. Now, in the other videos I've done, I talked about how to just make normal char cloth. So instead of referring you to those, I'm going to talk about what you need to do, or what are the attributes you need in the can. Essentially, to make char material of any kind, you just need some way to hold the material and burn it without introducing oxygen. That can be you digging a hole, putting a bunch of material in it, putting clay over it, and then doing a fire on the top of it. That can be you making some sort of a kiln whose purpose is to create char material. Or the easy way is to take an Altoids can or another tin can like that and cook it inside of it. Now the Altoids can have enough cracks on the outside. I don't need to make a weep hole. A weep hole is basically a little hole right there where the gases can escape, but oxygen cannot be introduced to burn up your material. This Tabasco chocolate can seals really tight. Because of that, I had to add a weep hole to it. This Altoid can does not seal tight. So I don't have to add a weep hole. You can, it's not gonna hurt anything, and it will maybe even help you to identify when the stuff's done cooking, but you don't have to. So once I've added the punk material, I've got it in my can, I'm gonna put it on a fire. Now I'm gonna put that one right on top of the flame right here so that it can kind of help me to know when it's done cooking. Now what's gonna happen is it's gonna cook the material on the inside, and that material is gonna off gas. That off gas is gonna squirt out of the little cracks in the hinges on the back of the can, and then as it does so, it's gonna catch on fire. Once it catches on fire, I know that it's burning. Once that fire goes out, I know that it's done. So let's let that cook for just a minute. All right, right now it's kind of hard to see, but we got these little bursts of flame happening right here, and those flames are coming from the can. What that lets me know is that it's cooking the material in the can. So basically I'm gonna wait until, this isn't a super hot fire, but I'm gonna wait until that goes out completely, and you can see there's flame coming off the back of the can now. Once that flame from the can goes out, I will know that all of the material inside of the can has been cooked properly. Still a little bit burning in there. It's kind of slow. Now basically the flame is done coming out of this can. So what I'm gonna do is try to hold on to it with these two sticks. Get it to grip here. You can see a little bit of flame still coming out of there. So I'm gonna let that sit and just let it burn. And it's out. So now all I'm gonna do essentially is let this cool off. Once it gets cold to the touch, then we can open it up and use it for char cloth or charred punk wood. All right, so I left this for a while to cool off while we went and accomplished other things, ate breakfast and all that. It only takes a few minutes to cool off because the aluminum is so thin. But anyways, so we've taken it out of the fire. We went from punk wood like this to charred punk wood like that. So the way that this is gonna work now is there's a couple ways you can do this. One way is to hold your flint and steel like this and throw sparks at it. Another way is to use your flint and steel to throw sparks this way. You can hold it with one finger, drop it this way. You can put more, a whole bunch of charred material in one container and then throw sparks until you get one of them that lights it, and then take that out and add it to your nest and then close it and suffocate it. That's one way to do it. It's one of the older ways to do it. Whatever you like works. Since I'm set up for this one, we'll do it this way. Okay, and I've got an ember right there. I'm going to add it to this bigger chunk so you can kind of see it. Now, just in case I've got other unseen embers in here, which I know I do, I'm going to close this off and suffocate it of oxygen and save that material. So this is what we've done. We've gone from punk wood, we cooked it just like we do normal char cloth, used a flint and steel, threw a spark on it, and now you can see it turning white, so that is a burning ember. If I cut this in half, I can add that to a nest and use that nest to create a fire in the fire lay. Or I can throw it back in here and suffocate it and use the remainder of it later. Because you only really use what you need. And even though that's burnt just a little bit, I can suffocate it of oxygen and it'll be able to be used again later. Hopefully this is valuable to you. This has been Tyler White showing you how to make char material from punk wood. If it has been valuable to you, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you have questions about any of this stuff, leave them down in the comments. I'll get to them as I can. And thank you for watching.